Let's take a look at the basic foundation when dealing with data. We call it CRUD. It's a create, read, update, and delete functionality that we need to add. So all the information we're going to learn right now, you can find references in here on the models and documents in case you are stuck or you need to add some more information to your application. So let's go ahead and start to play around with these methods. We're going to use the MVC pattern in our application, which basically separates the concerns into these three modules. We got our M for model. Now we already created the model, which was the M from the MVC. Now let's create the C, the controllers. Here basically we do our functions, and then we're going to pass it to the views, which is the V on the MVC. We're going to deal with the V later, part of our application, but the main concern of ours now is the model and the controllers. So let's get started. We're going to build our CRUD in the controllers instead of doing it inside the router, like we did before. Here we are creating a resource, which would be a user, but we are doing it inside the route, which is not so good because your router file is going to start to become very big depending on what you're adding. For example, when you're creating a user, a sign up, you need to verify the data, which you're not doing over here yet. You need to do stuff to it, hashing password, all of this information would be in here, and then your router file would get bigger. So basically you should always try to make your models fat, your controllers skinny, but never on the route. You need to aim to add most of your logic, your application logic, inside your model, and then the controllers. You mostly see applications, Express applications, where they use the router. They teach you how to create all your functions over here, but I mean, you can do that, but it's not a good practice. So let's get started. First, we need to import a user. From the user model. And then we need to create our controller. So we create our user controller. We create a user controller. And let's set it for an empty object for now. And lastly, we export it. Export default user controller. So that. Okay, with this done, let's create our user. Inside our controller, create user, request, response. So what do we need to do over here? The same way as we created our route over here, we got the request, we got the email and password from the body, we're gonna do the same. So we're gonna create our user with the email and password. First we do user, and then we're gonna call new user. And here we can get the information, the email and password from the request. To make it simpler, I'm gonna use a method from the Nodejs library called pick. So first let's install it. npm install nodejs.pick. Adding the dot over here, so I don't need to install the whole Nodejs library because they have plenty of these little functions. So here I can install only the ones I want, like we did with the merge. We're using the merge over here. So here I'm just gonna import pick from nodejs.pick. Now for the user, I can do pick, and then it takes two options. This thing is where to pick from. So we're gonna do the request.body. That's where the function is gonna get the information from, and what we are actually requesting. So we want the email and the password. So here we are basically doing what we did over here. we are setting an email and a password variable to be equal to the request.body, and then we are creating a user object with that information. This is a little bit better. You just need to remember that the pick asks you for where to pick from and what to pick. That's all you need to remember. So now that we create this, we'll do user.save, and that will save our user to our database. And then you could do a then and read the rest of your logic in here. But let's use the async function. We call it await over here. Wait for the user to be saved. And as you know, we need to add the async to make it asynchronous. And here you can just add the rest of your logic. Response.send, and we're going to send back the user for now. So now that this works, if you try it out, it should work, but we're not managing any errors in here. So let's do that now. You can use a try catch block. And we are putting our code inside the try, and then on the catch, we're just gonna send response dot. Let's do a status because we need to set the status to 400, which is an error, and then we can send the error. So here you are setting a user with this information that we're getting from the request.body. We're picking these two information and saving it inside the user variable. We are calling the user and using the save method from Mongoose, and then you're sending back. If it's successful, you're sending back the user. If not, we're dealing with the error over here. So let's try it out. But first, we need to hook it up to our route. Now, inside our user route, we can do that. So as we saw before, that's a post request. So in here on the users dot post, when someone goes to the /users, the same as this one, we're going to get that information back from the input. So we need to add the users controller. As you can see, my users controller was auto imported over here, but you need to import in case you're using. And then you just need to call create user in it. So instead of having all this information inside here like this, we are creating it in its own module and we are importing it over here. So let's try it out. First, I'm going to start my server. Okay, it worked. I'm going to open up a new terminal, and here I'm going to do my HTTP calls. So if you remember, it's the HTTP, the HTTP pie. We're going to post to our users. And here you just need to send the email and the password. So now if you press enter, there we go. We have a 200, means it was successful. And here we have our new object. We have my email ID, created that and updated that. And as you can see, we have a problem over here. We have no password. If you check on our controllers, we are passing the password over here. But that's one good point about the Mongoose. You can actually, you don't need to pick anything from here. You can set the whole body to the save method, and then Mongoose will see what is in your model and what is in the input, and it's just gonna save those information that is in your model. If you check our model, I made a mistake because I copied and I didn't put password in here, so we don't actually have a password to be created in our model. So when Mongoose received this information, it saw that there was no password in our model, so it didn't use it. Now, if you do it again, I need to change my email. If you do it again, it was created. Now I have my password. So here we're sending the password, but we didn't have the password here. That's why it didn't save. Now that you have the password in our model, whenever you send the information, it will save as well. But if the information is not in the model, you just skip. So we can try it out. So when I send it, now here we have it. Object ID and the password. So I'm gonna drop my database. So let me create my user again. There you go, now it's successful and I have my password over here. As you can see, we have a created at and an updated at in a date format. So in the latest VS Code 1.24, Microsoft added a plugin called Cosmos DB, which is this one here. If you go, is this Azure Cosmos DB. So if you install it, you're gonna get this new icon over here. And when you click on it, you can attach a database. And here you can choose what kind of database you want to add. If you choose the DB, and then it's gonna ask you for the address, which that means the local host. I've already attached, so it gives me this information. And here it is, attach database accounts. If I do that, I have my local host over here. And here is all the databases that I have. We are working on the development. And just close these files. And also the terminal. So here I have my users database. And if I click, here's the one I just created. And I have my objects ID. This is the way MongoDB adds the ID for us. And this is auto-created. If you don't specify, it's always going to auto-create this ID for us. This is a really nice add-on for VS Code. It makes very easy for us. Just inside our code editor, we can do all of this stuff. We have our DB that we can check anytime we want without opening it up any other application. So let's get going. If you don't have VS Code, well, you should get it. Otherwise, you can use the Mongo Compass. Mongo Compass is free to use, and you can get it from the mongodb.com. Here, if you go get Mongo, you can get the Compass over here. So you just choose whatever platform you are on. There's a community version, but the other one, it works fine as well. So you can just download it and install. The Compass, when you open it, it's gonna display this data over here. It automatically adds you some information over here. Like if you click connect, it's gonna connect your database, and here you can find the same information that we had over here on the Cosmos DB. In the development, we have our users, and here we have our entry. You can delete, you can refresh your database over here in case you add some more. You can see the different way, the format list. You can work with the schemas and other stuff, which I don't think is available in here, but I don't think I'm going to use this at the moment. So in case you're going to use any of these other options, we can come back in here.